5 minutes before divorce court, I took my wedding ring off. I placed it into an evidence bag. The clerk asked, "Is this financial evidence?" I said no. It is a reminder not to soften again. At the same time, my ex-husband told his mother in the hallway, "She has nothing. She only knows how to make noise." 10 minutes later, the judge played 3 years of recorded family finance voice memos. His face looked like a newly renovated house with the load-bearing wall removed. "My name is Gunan Shing. I am 32, and I practice commercial real estate law. My job is contracts, risk, and backup clauses. For the first years of marriage, I turned my own risk controls off because I believed one sentence: do not count too clearly with family. Later, I learned if you do not count, someone will count for you, and they will count until you have no road home. I was married to Joe Chung for 7 years. The first 2 years looked normal, at least on the surface. We saved for a down payment, toured apartments, renovated, posted weekend cooking photos. The turn came when his mother moved in. On day 1, she smiled and said, "A real family pools money together." I did not argue. I thought it was a generational habit. I did not know it was the start of a system. First came convenience, linking my salary card to a shared household account. Then came short-term borrowing, my premarital savings for temporary wealth management. Then came "You are busy, I will sign for you." My name began appearing on installment plans and policies I never saw. Every time I asked, Joe Chung said, "Mom would not hurt us. Do not turn the home into an interrogation room." My first serious doubt arrived when my father was hospitalized. I needed to pay the surgery deposit urgently. The card failed. The bank said my secondary card had 17 large transactions in a month. Locations were luxury boutiques and high-end beauty clubs. I stood at the payment window with cold sweat on my back. I was not angry first. I was ashamed. I am the person who builds corporate firewalls, and I could not protect my father's emergency money. That night, the table had bird's nest and imported fruit. My mother-in-law watched TV and said women should invest in their faces. I stared at the golden spoon and understood. She was not unaware. She assumed shared family money could fund her lifestyle first. I did not fight that night. I did something very professional. I started a ledger. I exported every account statement and archived it monthly. I turned every verbal loan into a voice memo emailed only to myself. Every co-signature, password change, and beneficiary update went on a timeline. I named each evidence bundle. H01 was mortgage. H02 was insurance. H03 was credit installments. H stood for home. Later, I realized it also stood for hostage. For 3 years, I learned to nod at dinner and back up data at midnight. Joe Chung thought I had become emotionally stable. It was not stability. I stopped treating conversation as a fix and started treating it as an evidence environment. The marriage broke on a house. Not the one we lived in, a property purchased using my name as guarantor without my knowledge. I saw the credit record and my mind went blank for 3 seconds. The guarantee amount was close to my entire net worth. If that loan failed, my personal credit would fracture with it. I showed Joe Chung the screenshot. He stayed silent a long time. Then he said, "Transfer it to family first and fix paperwork later." I asked which family member. He said my mother can hold the title. We are one family. That moment, I knew this was not failed communication. We were not operating in the same legal universe. I asked for separation. My mother-in-law sat on the living room floor and cried that I was ungrateful. She said she treated me like a daughter. Joe Chung stood between us and repeated one line, "Can you stop being so legalistic?" I looked at him calmly. If someone calls boundaries legalistic, legalistic long enough, their loyalty is not to the relationship. Their loyalty is to convenience. The day I moved out, I took 2 suitcases, one for clothes, one for hard drives. After separation, they launched a narrative war in the family group chat. They said I had someone outside, despised the poor, wanted to seize assets alone. I did not reply online. My counsel did 2 things first: preserve electronic evidence, seek injunctive relief against new debt. At the first mediation, Joe Cheng brought his mother. She opened with tears. She said even divorced women need a path and not to push a man to death. My lawyer slid 1 page across the table. 63.8% of household master account flows went to her personal spending and linked accounts in 3 years. The air in the room hardened. Joe Cheng tried the feelings route. He said, "You used to be different. Now you are an audit machine." I told him you turned marriage into a financial model. I only completed the formula. On trial day, I placed the ring in the evidence bag. It was not theater. It was severance. The judge heard both sides first. They insisted voluntary family arrangement and denied coercion or concealment. When our turn came, counsel asked to play 3 key audio clips. Clip 1, his mother instructing to use her name first because I would be too thin-skinned to sue. Clip 2, Joe Cheng admitting beneficiaries were moved to his mother for stability. Clip 3, discussion of renewing a guarantee without my knowledge. Each clip made their side quieter. By clip 3, Joe Cheng looked down and stopped meeting my eyes. I felt no triumph, only a late reality. Truth finally stopped living only inside my head. The judgment was not a revenge finale. No applause, no slow-motion camera. Reality was procedural. Certain debts were deemed invalid. Unauthorized signatures were not honored. Community property was reallocated with evidence. Future tort claims stayed open. I lost a marriage. I recovered credit, cash flow, and choice. 6 months later, I went to therapy. The therapist asked my biggest after effect. I said, when I hear family should not count so clearly, my heart races. She smiled and said, that is not illness. That is your system upgrading successfully. Now I live alone in a small apartment. No one can change my passwords for me. On weekends, I buy flowers at the market, cook soup, silence my phone at night. Sometimes I think about that ring. It is not on my hand or in my heart. It sits in a file inside a clear evidence bag. It reminds me love can be hot, but boundaries must stay cold. If you ask what the most expensive thing in marriage is, it is not the house or the banquet. It is the moment you replace "am I too petty" with "is this lawful, reasonable, and traceable?" I used to fear cold conversations. Now I know what truly chills a relationship is not rules. It is when someone wants your concession but not your consent. So, at the courthouse door, I did not look back. Not because it did not hurt, because I finally learned closing some doors is not failure. It is settling a long-term overdraft with yourself.